Okay, but that first paycheck though, right? Yeah. Remember that feeling, like you've officially made it to adulthood, right?
It's a pretty great feeling.
It is. But adulting also means making smart money moves, and the sooner we start, the better. That's why we're diving deep into Finshots Money Milestones, #1 Taste of Freedom. We're talking early career financial wins, and trust me, this is not your typical boring finance lecture.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
What I love about this article is that it acknowledges those early career aspirations while guiding us toward building a strong financial foundation. It's like, okay, you want to enjoy your hard-earned money, but let's be smart about it too.
Exactly. And their first tip, it's pure genius, and honestly, it made me laugh out loud. Loud budgeting.
Loud budgeting.
Yeah, they want you to get your friends involved in your financial goals.
Okay, I'm listening.
So it's all about harnessing the power of peer pressure, but in a positive way.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Like, imagine you're trying to save up for something big, but your friends are planning an expensive trip. The article gives you an actual script to opt out gracefully, without
Right.
feeling like you're missing out. Something like, hey guys, adulting is tough on the wallet right now. How about we hang at my place instead? We could even, have a potluck.
It's like setting those boundaries, but in a fun, social way. I like it.
Right. And get this, the article even provides a free budgeting spreadsheet. No excuses now, people.
No excuses. So what's next on the road to financial freedom?
Well, step 2 is all about what they call buying freedom, and now that's something I can definitely get behind.
Okay, buying freedom sounds intriguing. Tell me more.
So this is where it gets really good. The article emphasizes having a financial safety net, for unexpected events, but also for those moments when you might want to make a big life change, like, say, quitting a job that's making you miserable.
Been there. It's definitely a factor.
Exactly. And the article gets that. They even call it the FU fund.
The FU fund. Wow, they're not holding back.
Nope. They're keeping it real. And they break it down into 2 main funds. The rainy day fund, that's your classic emergency fund. And then there's the FU fund.
Okay, so that's specifically
For
for...
having the financial freedom to walk away from situations that no longer serve you.
I love that. Your I Deserve Better fund.
Yes. So how do they suggest we start building these freedom funds? Well, they keep it pretty straightforward, actually, recommending options like a dedicated savings account for easy access to some of your money and fixed deposits or recurring deposits for longer-term growth. And then for those who are ready to dip their toes into investing, they mention liquid mutual funds.
Liquid mutual funds. For someone who's just starting out, what exactly are those?
Well, think of them as a potentially slightly more rewarding alternative to your typical savings account. You're basically pooling your money with other investors and buying into a bunch of short-term debt instruments. They're considered relatively low risk, but as with any investment, there are no guarantees. It's all about finding what aligns with your own risk tolerance and financial goals. But hey, speaking of long-term goals, are you ready to talk retirement?
Retirement. I know. We're like just starting our careers. Retirement seems ages away.
Right. It feels like forever for now. But that's kind of the point though, right? Like, the earlier we start, the better.
Definitely. Compounding is a magical thing.
Seriously. And the article really drives that point home with this story about 2 people, Anjali and Rahul. They're both making the same salary at the start of their careers.
Okay, Anjali and Rahul got it.
So Anjali, she starts investing in her retirement right away,
Yeah.
from day one. And he's like, nah, I'm good. Retirement's forever away. I'll start saving later.
Oh, I've heard that one before.
Haven't we all? But here's the thing. Because of the magic of compounding, basically, your money's making money on top of money. Anjali ends up with double the retirement savings, even though they both contribute the same amount overall, just because she started earlier.
See, this is what I mean about compounding. That's huge.
Right. Makes you want to start thinking about retirement a little differently. So where does the article recommend putting our retirement savings to work?
So they're all about taking a slow and steady approach here. They're actually really cautious about people, especially when you're just starting out, trying to get rich quick, picking individual stocks, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that always felt a little too much like gambling to me anyway.
Right. There are better ways. Index mutual funds, that's where they land.
Index funds. See, those always sounded a little intimidating.
I know they sound complicated, but they're really not. Promise. Much easier than trying to figure out the stock market on your own.
Okay, that's good to know.
Think of it this way. Instead of trying to pick individual stocks like, oh, is this company going to be the next big thing? You're investing in a whole basket of stocks. And that basket That's what tracks the market index, like the Nifty Y50.
Okay, so basically you're investing in the entire market.
Exactly, which means
Less risk.
less risk, way less stressful.
Way less stressful. Yeah, sign me up. But the article mentioned these things called expense ratios when it comes to index funds, though. What are those all about?
Oh, yeah, good catch. You definitely want to be mindful of expense ratios. Basically, it's the annual fee that you're paying to the fund manager, the person or company managing that fund, or, managing the fund. But with index funds, because they're passively managed, meaning they just track that index we talked about,
Yeah.
those expense ratios are usually much lower than, say, actively managed funds where someone's constantly buying and selling stocks trying to beat the market.
So lower fees are good.
Always good.
And
Means more of your money is actually working for you.
Okay, so we've got index funds, low expense ratios, compounding.
You're on a roll.
I'm getting this, slowly but surely. Let's move on, though, to something maybe not quite as exciting as watching your money grow with index funds,
Yeah.
but just as crucial, insurance.
Yeah, all right. Not the most glamorous topic.
Definitely not. But the article makes a really strong case for why it's important for everyone, not just people who have families or who are closer to retirement.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Well, they start by highlighting health insurance, for example, and not just relying on your employer for that.
Right, which a lot of people do.
Yeah, but what happens if you decide to freelance or maybe start your own business? Even if you just decide to take a career break, you don't want to be caught without health insurance, especially with how crazy expensive healthcare is these days.
No kidding. And the older you get, the truer that is.
Right. And speaking of healthcare costs going up, the article talked about medical inflation, which is, I didn't know this was a thing, but medical inflation is basically healthcare costs increasing faster than normal inflation. And in India, it's like 7–8% every year.
Yeah, that's nuts.
It is nuts. That means whatever you pay for healthcare today, it could be significantly higher, like just a few years down the line.
Huh.
So having your own health insurance policy on top of any employer coverage is like this extra layer of protection in case those unexpected medical expenses pop up.
Right, so true.
And then they get into life insurance, which isn't just about having kids or a family to think about either. They actually bring up the fact that a lot of millennials these days, they're part of the sandwich generation. They might need to help support their aging parents while also raising young children.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to think about.
It is. And then on top of that, there's the debt thing, right? We've got
Yeah.
student loans, home loans, all sorts of debts. Life insurance can help ensure that those burdens don't get passed on to loved ones if something were to
It's
happen.
about planning for the worst, right? Even when we're hoping for the best.
It is. But I have to say, sometimes thinking about all these what-ifs can get a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like, I need to budget, invest, get insurance. Is that it? Is there anything else?
Well, they do offer one more suggestion, and this one's not about putting money away, actually.
Oh. Okay, I'm listening.
Building your personal brand. They even call it professional insurance, which I love.
Professional insurance? What is that? Like, can we actually buy insurance for our careers now?
Not literally, but they're making this point about how important it is to build a strong personal brand. And they're saying that especially these days in the digital age, when we're sharing our skills online, maybe we've got a blog, we're active on social media, whatever it is, that can actually open doors for us. So it's like this safety net for your career.
Oh, I see. So instead of just applying for jobs the traditional way, I'm putting myself out there, showing what I'm good at. That makes sense.
Yeah, and potentially finding new clients, collaborations, maybe even a job that you didn't even know existed before.
I love that. It's like having options, right?
Exactly.
This whole deep dive has been amazing. So much good advice in that Finshots article. What's been the biggest takeaway for you?
I think for me, it's how much they emphasize starting early. It's really easy, especially when you're just getting that first paycheck, to think retirement, insurance. That's so far off, I don't even want to think about it right now.
It feels like a lifetime away.
Right. But this article does a really good job of explaining why putting off those financial milestones, even if it's just for a few years, can make a big difference.
Yeah. It's like that old saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the second best time is now.
Yes.
So to everyone listening, if you're feeling overwhelmed, just remember that. Even small steps now can make a huge difference later.
100%.
Whether that's setting up that loud budget with your friends, starting your Buy Freedom Fund, figuring out those index funds, or finally getting those insurance policies sorted.
All those little steps make a difference.
They really do. And of course, we can't forget about building that personal brand, your professional insurance
Yeah.
in this crazy world.
Exactly. This deep dive was all about those early career money moves, but these are good principles no matter where you're at, right?
Absolutely.
So here's a thought. What's one thing, and it doesn't have to be about money, that you can start today, take a small step, that could lead to awesome things down the road?
I love that. That's what it's all about. Okay, until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, keep driving deep.